TV. I've seen you been in GTA many times to support Arnold and also Adam. Is it the indicator that Liberal Party will try to gain back these 2 seats to pave the way for regaining power next year?
Well, I'll be quite honest. The Liberal Party has an awful lot of seats to regain if we're going to gain power next year. I mean, we are sitting right now at 35 seats in the House of Commons. To form government, we're going to need 170 or so. What that means is we're going to have to roll up our sleeves and work hard, not just in these 2 ridings, but in every single riding across the country. But that's good news for me, because the Liberal Party does best when we are a truly national party. When we're not picking and choosing the regions of the country we want to represent. We don't want to be just a cities party. We want to be a party, yes, of cities, but also of the countryside. We don't want to be a party just of the East or just of the West, but of the entire country. A party with English, with French, with new Canadians, with people who've been here for generations, and with people who've been here for millennia, in the case of Aboriginal Canadians. So the one thing that the Liberal Party does very well is drawing people from everywhere to step forward. And the work that we have to do, yes, to answer your question, I do intend that in these 2 by-elections send 2 strong Liberal members of Parliament in Arnold Chan and Adam Vaughan to Ottawa to represent the Liberal Party. But we also have 2 by-elections going on at the same time in Alberta, where I'm also counting on great things out of the 2 Liberal candidates there, in a part of the country that's not traditionally been as friendly as other parts to the Liberal Party. I'm looking for great results from our Alberta by-election. So I'm very much focused on doing what my friends in the Liberal Party chose me to be leader to do, which is to win elections, to win by-elections, and to bring this country on a better path.
Okay. And from CMR.
Yes.
Ganga. Liberal Party never had a Tamil candidate in the election, both in federal and provincial levels. And even though many came forward to be, some were here, some were blocked. One in Big Import and another one was made to Big Road in Scarborough Centre. But Tamil community, when it comes to elections, they vote for Liberal. Majority of the Tamils are voting for Liberals. From the last election, they were expecting at least to have 1 candidate, but the Tamil community is wounded right now. And one question is, do you have any plans to include at least 1 Tamil candidate in the federal election next? And the second question, after the last federal election, Scarborough Centre candidate John Harris made a remark that Tamil community had to relate by switching to some other party or not voting for Liberal. Do you agree with it?
Well, first of all, I'd like to point out that I wasn't the leader of the Liberal Party in the last election. One of the things that I have been very, very clear about is that the Liberal Party has realized that we made mistakes by taking for granted many communities, not just, please don't read too much into that. Not just, you got all the pictures earlier though, anyway. Not just by not just by taking for granted communities that had always supported us beyond the Tamil community, many Chinese Canadians, maybe other South Asians, Italian and Greek communities we didn't reach out to nearly enough. So one of the reasons for that is that in this past election, in this upcoming election, I've committed that every single MP for the Liberal Party will have been chosen not by myself as leader, but by members of the community. And that's why here in Scarborough Agincourt, when Arnold Chan wanted to step forward and become the Liberal candidate, he had to run a contested nomination. And he had to organize and work hard on the ground. And I'm happy to report that we have a large number of Tamil Canadian candidates who have stepped forward and who will be working hard to become the candidate. And nobody will be blocked as long as they are Liberals, which fortunately there are many, as you point out, Tamils who are Liberals. And they will be able to run and get the support of their community. So I'm very much looking forward to having a large number of Tamil Canadians and Canadians from all sorts of different backgrounds representing these wonderful, diverse communities around the GTA.
And when it comes to abortion,
Yes.
don't you think you are suppressing the freedom of speech of the would-be Liberal candidates?
I think that's an interesting question that we have to ask, what is more important? The capacity of people who are legislators to vote a particular way, or the responsibility of those legislators to defend people's rights? Now, my decision around abortion respects the fact that people can have the personal views, religious, cultural, personal views that they like, and still be liberals and even liberal candidates and MPs. But with their votes, they cannot take away a woman's right to choose. That is something that is enshrined and protected by our Charter of Rights and Freedoms. It's something that's protected in our Constitution. It's something that women in this country have fought for decades. The capacity to choose what happens to their own body. And if you want to be a Liberal member of Parliament, you're going to have to accept that the Liberal Party will not take away a woman's right to choose. And that's all that I'm asking, that the people who stand for the Liberal Party agree not to vote against a woman's freedoms if they want to be Liberals. And that is something that Canadians across the country have applauded me for, have thanked me for, and I'm very, very proud of that position we've taken. But like I say, Liberals are welcome to their views. It's the votes that matter. Yes?
Yeah, I'm Shay with my big sister. I have two questions, each of one to address each of you. The first question is about your comments on the outcome of Ontario provincial election. You may see this is a positive sign of the support for the Liberal Party, but at the same time, traditionally speaking, people in Ontario usually elect parties of different stripes to lead the provincial government and the federal government. So it may be selective for the federal Liberal Party to win. So how would you like to comment on this? And my question to Mr. Chen is, one of the key issues in Scarborough and in your riding is transportation. So I just wonder what kind of proposal for solution? And also, specifically, are you in favor of subway?
First of all, I've heard that many times over the past while, that, in historical terms, often there is Ontarians choose a balance of power. I think one of the things that we've seen over the past while in politics in general is conventional wisdom and, things that happened in the past no longer necessarily hold now. What I see from Canadians across the country is they want different levels of government that are going to work together to build solutions that will respond to their needs. Canadians don't want different levels of government fighting with each other. They want them working together to meet the concerns that Canadians are facing. And that's exactly what I'm offering. Kathleen Wynne is going to be dealing with a federal government in Ottawa led by Stephen Harper, who has not sat down to meet with the premiers since the very first year he got elected. He does not engage well or productively with leaders at different levels of government, whether it be provincial or municipal. And what I've seen heard loudly and clearly from Canadians across this country, including Ontarians, is that they want their leaders to collaborate, to work together, to build better solutions, and that's exactly what I'm going to do, and that's exactly why I am so encouraged by the strong message that Ontarians sent on Thursday night.
I want to thank you for that question on transportation. Again, this has been one of the core issues that I've been fighting for, even when I started my nomination campaign. Transportation is a key problem here in the Greater Toronto Area, and particularly here in Scarborough. We've certainly seen over the last 10 years increasing commute times, particularly for people from the suburbs, getting to work, whether it's downtown or across town. And that speaks to the fact that we have not adequately kept up with the process of investing in infrastructure, particularly in our large urban areas. And one of the things that I know that I've been fighting for, so has my colleague Adam Vaughn down in Trinity Spadina, is the importance of reinvesting in infrastructure in our large urban centers. If you go back to the last time the Liberals held power in Martin, for example, we dedicated 2 cents on the gas tax, gave much greater fiscal flexibility to municipalities to make those kind of positive decisions through the dedicated 2 cents on the gas tax. We need that same kind of support from the federal government to provide much greater fiscal flexibility so that, for example, things like the Scarborough subway or the transit plan that's being advanced by the city can move forward. To know that there's an important funding partner coming from the federal government that will step up and provide that long-term dedicated funding. And that's something that we will be fighting for as part of, should I be elected and advancing forward in the future.